Sonic the Hedgehog 2, also known as Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Classic, is a remastered version of the original Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Mega Drive. It was published by Sega for the iOS and Android in late 2013, having been developed by Christian Whitehead and Simon Tomley following their digital remasters of Sonic the Hedgehog CD and Sonic the Hedgehog. Trying to imitate the gameplay of the earliest Sonic games, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a 2D side-scrolling video game, which plays exactly like the original game. The player can take control of either Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles. They can also play as Sonic or Knuckles, the latter only through cheats, with an AI-controlled Tails following them. Each character has their own abilities that the player can use to their advantage. To move their character around, the player has to use control pads, located at the left side of the screen. On the right, there is a button that will make the playable character jump when tapped. Like the original game, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is divided into 11 zones which include the newly added Hidden Palace zone. Each zone is divided into acts, which the player must complete in less than 10 minutes. In these acts, many gimmicks, obstacles and badniks can be found. Rings serve as the playable character's main method of protection. If the player is hit while having at least one ring, they will survive, though they will lose all their rings. On the other hand, getting hit without having any rings will cause the player to lose a life. If this is the case, they will respawn at the last star post they touched, or at the start of the act if no star posts have been touched. However, if the player runs out of lives, they will get a game over. To complete each act, the player has to spin a gold plate or open a capsule after defeating a boss. In either scenario, they will get bonus points based on the rings they have gathered and the time taken to finish the act. New features. The main menu has been completely redesigned, as previously seen in the 2013 remaster of Sonic the Hedgehog. The player can now save their progress in up to 4 save states. Infinite continues are provided as a result. After completing the game, the save state will be named complete. Tapping onto it will take the player to a level select-like menu, where they will be able to choose a zone to play. A time attack mode is added. In addition, it features a new exclusive zone called Boss Attack Zone, which requires the player to defeat all of the game's bosses, except for the Hidden Palace Zone's boss. The game features a new multiplayer mode. Hidden Palace Zone, which was included as a scrap zone during the development of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, is brought back. It comes with its own original boss and new enemies. It uses Mystic Cave Zone's 2-player music as the background music. The level select adds many new secrets. Through a secret mini-menu, it is possible to use the elemental shields from Sonic the Hedgehog 3. There is also the option to replace all normal monitors with random monitors. This mini-menu also allows the player to play as Knuckles while being accompanied by Tails. A secret 8th special stage is added. The version of Hidden Palace Zone from the Simon Y prototype has been added under the name Proto Palace Zone. Through debug mode, the player can place a newly added S monitor. This makes it possible for Tails to turn into Super Tails. Changes. The game is now rendered in full 60 FPS. The soundtrack has been fully remastered. The Life HUD has been moved to the top right corner of the screen. Tails can now fly and airlift Sonic or Knuckles. Knuckles is included as a playable character in the game, like in Knuckles and Sonic 2, without the need for the Sega Mega Drive cartridge's unique lock-on technology between Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and Sonic and Knuckles. However, unlike in Knuckles and Sonic 2, the color palette for certain items does not change. Sonic now transforms into Super Sonic if the jump button is tapped again during a jump with at least 50 rings, rather than by simply jumping. After the release of Sonic Origins, this applies to Knuckles as well. Special stages are now rendered in 3D rendered environments. Mystic Cave Zone Act 2 has the infamous spike pit removed. Instead, there is a bottomless pit that takes the player to Hidden Palace Zone. New post-credits scenes have been added, resembling the ones from Sonic the Hedgehog. The good ending also shows the Death Egg falling towards Angel Island and then shows Eggman throwing a hissy fit while Knuckles is hiding in a bush, foreshadowing the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Time Attack is a new mode added to this game in which the player has to pass acts in the least amount of time possible. The only playable character here is Sonic. All 1-up item boxes have been removed, but the time HUD also counts milliseconds. Boss Attack Zone has been added as an exclusive zone for this mode, while Sky Chase Zone is removed. When using Time Attack, the players select a zone and act to race through. The acts available depend on how far the player has gotten in the game. Upon completing an act, the player is graded based on their time. The game saves and records the player's best times, which can be compared to those on a personal list of best time logs. 2P Versus is a competition mode of the game. The player can play as either Sonic, Tails or Knuckles, and are given the election to join a match or create one. For the latter, they are given the following options. Game, the player can set the number of matches from 1 to 8. Items, the player is given the following options. Random, all monitors are randomly generated. Teleport only, the monitors only have the ability to teleport. Fixed, only normal monitors, including elemental shields, are present. The remastered version of Sonic 2 was also featured in Sonic Origins.